You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM.
Translator W259AB.
Powell, Knoxville.
Are you searching for a great local coffee? I'm Billy with Grade A Grounds. You can buy our freshly roasted coffee online and support a good cause with every sip. Great coffee, greater causes. Visit our website today, gradeagrounds.com.
Only 3 homestands remaining to see your Knoxville Smokies play this season. And next week is full of celebrations, starting with free hot dog night on Tuesday. All the hot dogs you can eat all night long. And if you're still hungry, we've got all you can eat Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers. Then on Friday, we honor one of the founding members of the Negro Southern League, the Knoxville Giants. On Saturday, we're continuing the fight against breast cancer by painting the park pink. And on Sunday is Cocoa Melon Day. Grab your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
Summer is officially here, and the last thing you want during sweltering heat is a broken air conditioner or HVAC system. That means it's more important than ever to keep you and your family comfortable and safe when extreme Tennessee temperatures arrive. Don't ignore the warning signs that your AC is struggling or nearing the end of its lifespan. And if you need emergency HVAC repairs, routine preventative maintenance, or want to invest in a new system, then call the trusted HVAC experts at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This month, get up to a $1,000 discount when you buy and install a new air conditioner or HVAC system. We make it easy with free on-site estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing with credit approval. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marco Scarza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limón. Muchas gracias, limón. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hey there, Basilio family. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. The countdown to fall football is on. Is your fall plan missing the perfect home to watch the Vols make another playoff run? If a new view is on your game day checklist, I'm ready to help you find it. Don't wait until kickoff. Give me a call today at 865-694-5904 or visit my website at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama's Easy approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
Well, in true Tony Basilio fashion, we are driving you crazy. Here's the first day of fall camp. All the updates are already up on the various VolQuest 24/7 site, etc. And we decide that we're going to try to break the world record for the number of ads at the start of show. We do appreciate your patience. Tony B is in parts unknown. We're hoping to get him back quickly. But right now, I just got the call from AA and just flew in for the start here. Brian Hartman and I will be taking your calls. Have a few guests coming up. We got a gentleman from that covers Syracuse. He's going to break down the opening matchup for us. And we're gonna do a lot of calls here today, I believe. Brian, I want to welcome you here on the Wednesday edition, first day of football practice. How are things?
Sean, thanks for stepping in real quick. And yeah, the first practice of the fall season is in the books. And Boo Carter was a participant in stretching, but not believed to be much of a participant in practice. They said Adam Sparks said he was off to the side. So I know everyone's wondering about that. Wanted to get that out of the way quickly.
Got to see some of the ads yesterday when I was on. Interviews when I was on the treadmill. Bunch of guys, Lance Hurd and Aguilar and Merklinger, etc. The guys seem to be pretty excited. Everything I've seen just looks like it's on brand for the opening day for the past 30 years. All the young guys are out there. They've had a whole winter of working out. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. Opportunity is now here. Derek Dooley, not nowhere. And so some people are out there vying for starting positions. So everybody's going to be a little excited, a little nervous. I certainly wish they would have given more access to the camera guys and some of the writers on these various sites so we could get a little more out of it. But that's just not Josh Heupel. I found his interview to be, again, very much on brand, not going to give you a whole lot. I'm not sure why. That's an odd one for me. Everything about him seems to be very genuine with the fans. He seems to just enjoy the fans tremendously here. It doesn't seem like a put on to me. He seems to give great value to filling up Neyland Stadium. and all that. And yet at the podium, I don't think he's nervous, but he's just not going to give up much. But anything, what you said about Boo Carter's interesting. I imagine that young man is filling up a trash can or two with puke, running, working out, making up extra lifts, etc. This is usually not couched as punishment. It's usually, look, these are the workouts that everyone else has done. If you want to be on the team, you got to do what the team does. And so I imagine that's what he's going on right now. They probably also trying to ascertain his level of fitness if he's been away for a while. So that's always good. Don't need a soft tissue injury from a guy that hasn't been working out lately. So anyway, let's see, 865-200-5402. Do I remember that right? I can't believe if I got that right. If you want to give us a call, give us your opinions of the initial practice for the Vols 2025. Brian, who do we have coming in from Syracuse land that's going to update us on Fran Brown and Fighting Orange?
That would be Javon Edmonds from the Syracuse Post, and I believe Syracuse.com is his publication.
Before we get to him, the lovely Miss Basilio, who's on the wheels of steel back at Mission Control, says we have one caller on home. I'm on remote, so sorry, caller. I don't know who this is, but welcome to the Tony Basilio Show.
Hey, y'all. This is William.
Hey, William. Thanks for calling. How's the summer been for you?
It's been very well. I had just got my hands on the new college football game.
What do you think about it?
It's a lot better than college football 25. They have added a lot more traditions, and I have currently started my dynasty against Syracuse, who I'm playing against right now, and everything's been good.
Does it rank the team in order of the way you've found the rankings in the SEC that time a few weeks ago? Are they ranked about the same? You got Missouri leading the SEC.
I didn't look at the conference rankings. Let me do that right now.
Oh, boy. Sean, your thoughts? You a video game guy?
Never been a video game guy. I'm so old that I remember the big deal when I was a little kid was that little console to play Pong on. If you're not familiar with it, imagine a black and gray screen with two paddles. It wasn't even a paddle. It was a joke. It was a line, one on either side, and this little blip went back and forth. And my sister and I sat there in amazement. This would be early 70s, taking a look at that. But anyway, William, I'll tell you what, we appreciate the call. I don't mean to snack cake you, but we've got our Syracuse expert is on hold, ready to get on. He's got a limited schedule. So thanks again. Call back tomorrow when Tony's back in the saddle, and we appreciate you listening and calling. Good luck on the game.
Hey, thank you.
And we'd like to welcome Javon Edwards. Javon, if I've got that right, I'm not...
Javon Edmonds.
Edmonds, excuse me. It was written wrong. I know how important it is to get someone's name right, so please forgive me. But welcome to the Tony Basilio Show. Tony's in parts unknown, as we like to say around here. Opening up the 2025 season against Syracuse. Tennessee, we all remember that opening game that marked the start of Tennessee's run to the national championship. I've always been somewhat of a Syracuse fan from afar, either Derek Coleman in basketball, cycling, Sherman Douglas, my homeboy, and then Donovan McNabb and some of those guys. Welcome to the show, and tell us the overall feelings of 2025 Syracuse coming off Fran Brown's just an absolute wonderful debut 10-win season.
Well, thanks for having me, first of all, fellas. Pleasure to be here. You named a lot of the basketball guys. I'll tell you what, for as long as I'm in Syracuse, I hope they get back to being good at basketball, because I grew up on good Syracuse basketball. But, over on the gridiron, I don't think anyone saw a 10-win season coming last year in Fran's first season, at least not the fan base. Everyone I talked to down in Charlotte last week at the ACC kickoff, I mean, the hats off to Fran Brown was the consensus. Manny Diaz, that was the one guy I would say was not surprised at what Fran did do. But I think the difference between last season and this season, the schedule favored the Orange last year. This year, not so much. They play just about anyone who is anyone in the ACC, plus you've got Tennessee and Notre Dame in the non-conference. So if Syracuse gets, 10 wins this year, and that would be 10 in the regular season as opposed to 9-3 in a bowl game win like last year, they'll be in college football playoff contention. Maybe even at 9-3, depending on who the losses are to. That schedule is that daunting. So I think the vibes are, people are encouraged by Fran Brown, just got a 5-star receiver out of Miami Northwestern, and Calvin Russell III, excuse me. So there's excitement on the fan base's side, but everywhere else there's a bit of concern in terms of repeating last season's success is going to be very difficult to do in 2025.
Fran Brown comes to Syracuse. 2023, I think he was voted the number 1 recruiter in the country. He was a DB coach at Georgia. Obviously, Georgia is a powerhouse. So certainly there had to be excitement getting a bright young coach up there with a proven recruiting record. Did anybody, I know it was a little bit of a surprise that Dino Babers, couldn't match the 110-win season and couldn't seem to get over the hump, but in the wildest dreams, did anybody foresee that level of excitement? Kyle McCord comes in, leads the nation in almost all passing stats. Just an exciting brand of football that comes to the Carrier Dome. And do you think that he won too quickly? We've had this here before where you win too quickly and then come back to earth. Does the fan base see that as just a treat last year and now we're back to here, or are the expectations, as you said, try to get back to try to get in playoff contention?
Well, we all know there's not many examples of a reasonable sports fan, right? So, although I may have listed every reason why this season is going to be more difficult than last, that fan base is not thinking like that. They're ready for 10 wins. They're ready to make the college football playoff. So on that side, the best case scenario is always in their mind. But to answer your other question in terms of did they win too quickly, I don't necessarily think that's a thing in college sports, because it's not like you got contracts and, now you do have contracts, but it's not like you have, in the NFL, you finish first place in your division one year, then you're playing all the first place teams next season and stuff like that. And that can really hurt you. I think the Commanders are going to suffer from that this year, right? They're all playing the second place schedule. But in college, you don't really have that, and you kind of need to win in order to keep your players and attract new players. So I wouldn't say he won too early. I would say expectations are going to be higher than they should among the fan base because of last season. And even not expectations, just optimism is going to be higher than it should be, if anything.
If Syracuse is going to repeat their success of last year, obviously it all starts and ends with replacing McCord, as we talked about his fabulous season. We got kind of tangentially, associated with Steve Angeli when Nico went out to UCLA, and we're looking for a veteran to get in here. We pick up Joey Aguilar. Obviously, Angeli goes to Syracuse. From an outsider's perspective, it looks like, he's, that's going to be the guy. However, and just looking into this thing, you guys also have Ricky Collins Jr., former 4-star out of Baton Rouge, who transferred from LSU. There's a somewhat of a, I don't think it's just a stage thing. It's somewhat of a quarterback competition here. But can you enlighten us on what you think is going to happen under center, and who do you project will be the starting quarterback for Syracuse when we kick off?
In all honesty, I think we're going to see both of them on the field, to be honest with you. I think, what Collins can do with his legs is going to be something that Jeff Nixon wants to use. But Angeli's got more experience, which is going to give him a real shot in camp to win that job. But I do think it is a wide open quarterback battle. Everyone I've spoken to insists upon that. Fran brought Ricky Collins with him to ACC kickoff, not Steve Angeli. That means something, right? They're two different skill sets, but also we don't fully know what Ricky Collins' skill set is because he only had 7 dropbacks in 2 years at LSU. But I think it's going to be a real competition because Ricky Collins, for all intents and purposes, he left LSU because he wasn't going to sit behind Garrett Nussmeier for another year. The dude wants to play. Syracuse brought him in because the plan was for him to play. And then, fast forward a month, not even a month, 2 or 3 weeks, and Steve Angeli is pinch hitting in the Orange Bowl against Penn State and, just wows Fran Brown's socks off. And it was easy to call him up because he played for Nunzio Campanelli's brother at Bergen Catholic. So I think it's a real duel. Those guys are going to be, camp starts tomorrow. From tomorrow to August 29th, I think it's a competition.
We're glad to be joined by Javon Edmonds of Syracuse.com, enlightening us on the Syracuse Orange as they will be our initial opponent here in the 2025 season. We thank him for taking some time to update us. I want to go to Brian Hartman. Brian, you have a question?
Yeah, Javon, thank you for your time. I wanted to ask about the offense and what they've lost defense with receivers and running backs, and also what's the strength of the defense, do you think, this year?
I think the theme of this season's team is replacing production. Last year you lost, so you lose Trevor Payne, gets to the transfer portal. That stinks. Rondé Gaston gets drafted. Kyle McCord gets drafted. McQuinn Allen Jr. gets drafted. So the offense is tearing it down and building it all back up. Defensively, so Elijah Clark gets drafted, but you still got Devin Grant and Deuce Chestnut, right? All you're doing is plugging Barry Buxton and nickel, and he's gotten some snaps, so you're fine. You lost Clarence Lewis at corner, not the biggest loss. They're young, and they're relying on the veterans to really lead that unit. They got David Reese to transfer in from Cal. That's a redshirt senior. Tank Wilson's been a staple in Syracuse, redshirt senior. Chris Thomas Jr. transferred from Marshall, senior. Chestnut, Grant, upperclassman. They went and got Chris Peel to help out a very young cornerbacks room. Gary Bryant from South Dakota to come in and help out the linebackers. And that was one of the best guys, one of the best players in all of FCS. Should have never been an FCS player. COVID kind of messed up his high school recruitment. So I think it's just building from the ground up. I think the front seven and the safeties are going to be the strength of the defense, while, the corners like Davion and Davian Kerr, Chris Peel, Demetrius Samuel, they're going to really be tested early on to see what they're made of. But Fran Brown's a corners coach. He works with them intensely. So if there's one area of the team that can grow up and mature overnight, it's that spot. But I think the strength of the team is going to be the safeties on defense with a little bit of help up front. And offensively, they got speed, and Jonte Cook, from everyone I've spoken to, appears to be the real deal. I trust Jeff Nixon when it comes to anything offensively. So I think that unit will hold its own. But defensively, the strength is going to be those two safeties up top and the experience they have on the defensive line.
From a big picture standpoint, you guys Syracuse is coming by my count, 7th, 8th, 9th year in the ACC. I don't know how it is up in the Northeast, but down here, the fan base is seeing, expanding playoffs, NIL, unlimited transfer. We've had a holdout here in spring. We just had a young man that kind of went AWOL, if I understand right. He's back in the picture today, et cetera, which has created some. I'm an old guy. And so talking to other old guys, there seems to be some fatigue in some of these things, some impatience with young kids making a ton of money, not out of jealousy, but just out of a lot of silliness. Can you give us some kind of perspective on what Syracuse fans think of this changing climate of college football?
So before I even get into that, I will share your sentiments on the silliness side. These NIL deals come with contracts. You sign a contract, you honor your contract. So the situations that have been down in Knoxville this offseason, I do find to be ridiculous. This is why, third party pay to play shouldn't be a thing. I'm going to be 24 in October. I used to argue with my granddad all the time. Revenue sharing is absolutely needed in college sports because these kids need a way to get by, and they should be allowed to make money off the field from endorsements, but pay to play from a third-party collective. It's just bad news. It seems like the folks on Capitol Hill are trying to change that right now, so hats off to them because it's much needed. But I can tell you up in Syracuse, Fran Brown runs a tight ship. He's got a finding system. He's got contracts. He's got weekly weigh-ins. He's got class check-ins. And when it comes to money, he's very selective with how he spends it. Texas outbid him to get Murad Watson away from Syracuse up in the spring. In the spring. And Murad Watson was a freshman All-American last year. Texas paid him. Fran told him, hey, go change your family's lives. There you go. Trevor Pena. Now, granted, his transfer was not about money whatsoever. His transfer was strictly, I don't know if Ricky Collins is the guy for me to play with my senior year. I don't know if he's ready. And listen, me personally, I was there at Pro Day last season, and I'll just tell you this. NFL scouts were very enamored by Trevor Pena. So he did what was best for his career, but he did have a dollar amount that he took to Fran Brown. And Fran told him, yeah, you're not getting that much money from me. You can go on down to Happy Valley. So they run a tight ship up there. Listen, you're going to earn your money, and when you get that contract, you're going to live up to your contract. Simple and plain. I think you're going to see more coaches around the country operate in that sort of fashion. And Syracuse absolutely has to be selected for this money because, it's Syracuse. It's not Georgia. It's not UCLA. It's not USC. It doesn't have the abundance of financial resources that, the blue blood institutions had. But they aren't broke. I will say that. They've got some donors and some boosters that are very dedicated to their program up there. But still, in terms of what they're competing against, they have to be selective. They know that, and they handle it pretty well, at least from what I've been able to observe.
Javon Edmonds with Syracuse.com joining us today on a first day of fall practice for the Big Orange down here. Also, Orange up there in Syracuse. With the ACC, with you joining the ACC, that's a lot of travel for you guys. I always thought the Syracuse would end up in the Big Ten. I guess I'm wrong. But coming down to the Southeast quite a bit. What do you think is going to be Syracuse turnout for the first game here? Is it typically a well-traveled fan base? And how do you see that first game going?
Yeah, so on your regionality thing, Bill O'Brien was joking about it down in Charlotte. Like, they tell us not to call it the Atlantic Coast Conference anymore with Louisville, SMU, Cal, and Stanford. This is the ACC. The last time he coached in the ACC, it was the Atlantic Coast Conference, which, I appreciate it. I grew up in Baltimore. I grew up on Maryland Terps football. I hate the fact that they're in the Big Ten. Maryland is ACC football to me. Syracuse is the Big East. You know, I grew up watching Syracuse and Georgetown basketball, so I hear you on that end. However, that fan base, it travels. Delta Airlines ran a promotion with the Syracuse airport back in, let's say, April or May for special packages to fly to Atlanta for the opener and South Bend for the Notre Dame game. Those tickets sold out quick. I had fans emailing me and DMing me to see if more tickets will be made available. They are trying to find their ways down there. So the excitement around Fran Brown, they are going to spend money on a bus ticket, a plane ticket, a train ticket, or gas money, either one. But, you know, Atlanta's going to be primarily Tennessee fans, but the Syracuse fan base is going to make its presence known. I will say that.
Schedule looks like it's bookend by at least top 15 matchups. Tennessee and Notre Dame, if I'm looking right. You referenced earlier about being a little bit different. Miami, SMU obviously had a nice year. We don't know what's going to happen with North Carolina. You still have Clemson, pick up Duke, etc. When you look through the whole schedule, I haven't seen Vegas or anything. Have you projected out a year record right now? And what would be the floor and what would be the ceiling for Syracuse coming into the season right now?
So Vegas has the line at 5.5. I think that's a good line. I think between 5 and 7 wins is the range this team's going to be in. They're going to be 500. One game below 500 or one game above 500. So 5.5 is the Vegas line. You know, if I were working in Vegas, I'd bump it up to 6.5 just to see who really wants to test their money. That's just me. But yeah, I think 5.5 is a great line. Over under, I'm inclined to say over, just because someone on that schedule that was good last year isn't going to be as good this season. So, like, I've chalked Clemson up as a loss already. I'll be completely honest with you. Miami, I want to call a loss. However, I think the Hurricanes got worse this season. I'm not a Mario Cristobal fan, and we all watched Syracuse pull off that upset at the Dome last season. So I can't give that a loss. SMU, I'm a big fan of Rhett Lashley. I think Kevin Jennings is one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. It's a deep quarterback conference, actually. I think Isaiah Wachovia has a chance to be an All-American down there. So SMU might be a loss. But after that, there's toss-up games. I think Duke's a toss-up. Notre Dame's got a quarterback battle going on right now. They're not too sure who's the leading horse in that race. You know, Boston College is definitely winnable. UConn and Colgate, you have to win. So I think I'd take the over on that 5.5.
Last thing for me before we get you out of here, and we sure do appreciate your time. Do you think I heard a director of officials down here, maybe with the SEC or with some conference, and he was trying to give an explanation about how they're trying to curtail some of this nonsense with kids just being shot by snipers, you know, right in the middle of the field to waste time, et cetera, and how they're going to get penalties. What are your thoughts on how they're implementing that? Do you think it's going to work? Do you think it's just a joke? And do you think any of that's going to slow down some of these defensive players trying to put a speed bump in front of some of these high-octane offenses?
I think the only way you stop it is, like, I think at some point someone in the NCAA office is going to have to really listen to Deion Sanders when he says there's some things about college that have to become more like the pros. I know Jim Phillips just announced last week there's a new injury reporting system for the ACC. I know they've got to do one the day before the game, one a few hours before the game. And then I think it's one earlier on in the week too. We all know the NFL does theirs Wednesday through an hour and a half before kickoff. So I think that helps. But also, you got to start penalizing teams with timeouts or runoffs inside of 2 minutes. Like, dude's hurt, your team has to burn a timeout. And if they don't have one, 10-second runoff. I think that's the only way you stop it, because I don't know how we all can tell a dude is faking it, but at the same time, you can't prove a dude is faking it in real time. So I think it's got to get more to the pros on that level of, hey, we're just going to start taking your team's timeouts and running off the clock if you guys are, so-called hurt inside the last 2 minutes, because I think it's foolishness. I think that in these states that don't have a shot clock in high school basketball, those are the two of the things that make me itch the most in sport.
Javon, is there anything that I failed to ask you that you think is important about this 2025 edition of Syracuse, or is there anything that we could try that you have questions about the Volunteers this year going into that first game of the season? We don't get a lot of information, quite frankly, here. Josh Heupel's pretty locked down with the information, but either of those, anything I failed to ask you or anything you'd like to ask us?
I just say get ready for a good game August 30th. The only question I'd have is if you guys know how much different that offense is going to look without Nico back there, because I think that game has potential to turn into a shootout, and whichever quarterback makes the most plays, in my estimation, is probably going to win his team the game on Saturday. So if Joey Aguilar is anywhere close to Nico Iamaleava, then I think fireworks are ready.
Well, I hope so. We're all looking for an entertaining game. I guess from our perspective, if that was a question, I think the Nico situation is down the line. Tennessee's replacing 80% of their offensive line. The former all SEC and Player of the Year, Dylan Sampson, at running back, and basically the wide receiver room has been whitewashed with new guys. Spare a kid that was like the third receiver option last year. So I don't think any of us down here were as big of fans as Nico as some people thought we might have been. We're hoping that Joey can. Well, there is some hope that, frankly, Joey may not be as good as you think as Nico as a prospect, but actually might be a little more productive. I don't think Joey Aguilar is going to turn into a first-round draft choice or have a Kyle McCord season this year. But there's a lot to replace here. A lot of production has graduated or moved on, and there are starting battles all along. But I'll tell you what, Javon Edmonds, Syracuse.com, we do appreciate you taking some time. Where can our listeners, if they want more information, where can they see your great work? And will you be going to the game?
I will be there. I will be there in Atlanta for the opener. You can catch my work at Syracuse.com. Just search up my name. I have an author page on the website. I'm also on social media at Javon Edmonds 45 on all platforms. So follow if you want. Read if you want. If not, I understand. You're Tennessee fans. I wouldn't care about Syracuse if I were down there either. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Fellas, appreciate having you on. It was a blast. Well, appreciate you guys having me on. It was a blast.
Well, we hope to get to talk to you soon or after the game, et cetera. We'll see how it goes. I hope you guys are not in the heat wave like we are down here in Knoxville. It's absolutely dispiriting and brutal. But I know upstate New York is a beautiful place, and I envy some of that terrain you guys have up here. Thanks so much for taking some time. We do appreciate it. Good luck to Syracuse, except for in that first game, and I hope Fran Brown brings you guys contending for the ACC championship and a spot in the football playoffs this year. Thanks again.
Absolutely.
I want to thank Javon Edmonds. I apologize again for mispronouncing his name. We just had it written down here, but that's my bad. I get it. We got another call on hold before we go to break. Thanks so much for your patience. I haven't hosted a show in, gosh, well over 10 years when co-hosted with Phil and Brocky and even Jamie, the caller, a little bit. So I appreciate you forgiving me in advance for the clunkiness here. But we got another caller on hold. Caller, I'm sorry, I don't know who this is, but welcome to the July 30th edition of the Tony Basilio Show.
Cinco, it's Madison in Texas. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Madison, how are you? Thanks for calling. How's the week? If it's hot here, I can only imagine it's just 2 times hot down there.
Oh, brother, we got to relocate from Austin to Dallas this week. So getting a U-Haul, putting all our stuff in the back and driving through, moving in the heat. You know how it goes. So, yeah, it's been a heck of a week, but good to talk to you guys here for a little bit. Cinco, I think we talked maybe last week about the Boo Carter situation. I don't really want to go too deep into that. I mean, I think the coach made his choice. But I mean, to me, I know it's a different era, but if you miss practice, you're gone, and that's it. But coach made his choice. I know the leadership council voted. Glad he's back with the team. I just hope this doesn't create issues down the line because, you can't have this kind of stuff going on.
There's a lot that I agree with. Again, I reference this that I'm an old man. It's been well over 30 years since I've been on that campus. But through the years, I've followed recruiting, and I've followed this very closely because of my associations at Tennessee. And there's a lot of sayings. Someone gave me credit for saying goofy recruitment, goofy career. A lot of that goes on when you're when you're already on the team as well. One thing, maybe you can help explain this to me. As part of the deal there, I thought about this yesterday. If you are being paid NIL money for name, image, and likeness, and apparently that is based on, it's not on play, but it's based on how you represent the school, how you represent yourself, advertising opportunities, all of that is factored into goodwill, so to speak. How in the world, besides some running, does he not take a hit on NIL money? Because, and I'm sure I understand the double-edged sword here. One, we all know it's pay for play, but it's not. And two, what advertisers or what companies are lining up right now to have Boo Carter represent their product?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Cinco, I think you know as well as I do, it is pay for play, but it's being disguised as marketing opportunity. And it's things like, okay, Boo, why don't you go sign autographs for an hour at the Alumni Hall in Farragut, and we'll pay you $1 million. And I'm not trying to cast aspersions on him or anything, but his hour being at Alumni Hall signing autographs is not worth $1 million. I think we all know that. But some booster somewhere is willing to pay that amount, and that's kind of what is demanded for his services on the football team. And in some cases like Nico, maybe the guy doesn't even show up, and then what happens then, right? That's a whole different story. But I would imagine they've agreed to a certain amount, and it has a certain number of public appearances or commercials or what have you there. And I think what I think we found out over the last few years is that the actual market, so to speak, for these players is a tiny fraction of what they're being paid, and that's because it's being disguised as pay for play. So it's a mess, man. But you know what? I'm glad the kid's back on the team. I hope he plays well this year. I hope that the locker room gets a little bit stronger from this, and I hope this is the last we hear about things like this going on. But Cinco, I want to talk to you a little bit about Joey football. And you know me, I've been from the start pretty high on this kid. He came out. He's got a chip on his shoulder. I think he started as a backup for Appalachian State when he threw for 38 touchdowns and 3,800 yards, and had that huge year for them. It might have been 22 touchdowns. It was a lot of touchdowns, like 3,800 yards. And to me, I mean, having a kid like that who wants to be here. For me, I grew up in East Tennessee. I understand what it means to play for the Vols, and to have a guy who wants to be here, who's got a chip on his shoulder, who's performed well. I know there's a lot of people out there who are questioning things like, oh, well, does it translate from Group of Five to Power Five? Why don't you ask Curtis Rourke and Indiana? Why don't you see how that worked out, right? There's plenty of examples of these kids that can play quarterback at that level, and they come to an SEC program with better talent, better protection, better receivers, and they're able to play just as well and put up the same numbers that they did in the Group of Five. I saw something, even Cinco, that was tracking the accuracy of quarterbacks in college football over 31 yards. And sure enough, there's Joey Football, number one in the whole country at deep pass accuracy. So, man, I'm excited about this kid. I think he can come into his own and really play well for us. So I'd say, I think a question earlier in the week was, how excited are you now that Nico's gone? I mean, I think my excitement level went from about a 4 or 5 to about a 10 because I'm excited to see this kid play.
Well, I would say this. I very much appreciate when a kid, some of the tags you had there, I agree with. Kid that wants to be here is a kid who's likely set up for more success than a kid that's going through the motions, just be here for pay, etc. I don't want to run Nico down. It is what it is. I was a huge fan of his recruitment. I was disenchanted watching him on the field, and I was very much disappointed. Having said that, we all want a Stetson Bennett type fairy tale thing coming here. We'll just have to see. That's all I can say is we'll just have to see. He looks like he has some usable skills. He obviously has some experience. He's not been a standout anywhere. I get that 2 years ago he threw up some good numbers. But week in and week out, you're going to see the best defenses with the best scouting reports, with the best defensive coordinators, et cetera, in the country. And we'll just have to see. I do not believe in any way, shape, or form that Jake Merklinger is capable of leading this offense this year. I get how everybody, has rallied behind him. I don't see it. I don't see it at all, frankly. I think he's, with all due respect, if Joey gets hurt, I'm going to be the biggest Merklinger fan, but I don't see it. So I hope Aguilar takes the reins and does well. Now, the one thing I would say is that if you take a look at the past 2 years, the quarterback production, the quarterback play here has been, and I'll steal a line from Tony, has been mid at best. I mean, whether it was Joe Milton or whether it was Nico, I think it was just at best mid-SEC level competency out there. So I believe he can be more productive. I believe he can be better and not be an NFL prospect. And one thing I do know is that Heupel's history is one with quarterbacks that he can showcase what you can do well, and he can also limit the areas that expose you somewhat. And so I would imagine that Joey Aguilar will, if he stays healthy, will have a nice year. Tony said yesterday that he thought, he would smoke the 19 touchdown passes. I'll have to see that to believe it, because you got to have somebody on the other end of that. And I don't know what kind of receivers we have right now, but I think my floor of him is, I think he's going to be more productive if he stays healthy than Nico was. And I think that if he plays better than that, I think we are looking at a 9-3 team with a chance to go 10-2. How about that? That's some sheepy hopium for you right there.
More productive, but you don't think you can get past that 19 TD mark?
Well, who's catching them, Brian? If you're throwing touchdown passes, somebody's got to be on the other end of them. And I've seen, Chris Brazzell. Okay. Traditionally, our tight ends, besides Princeton Fant, are big in image, but they're not big in numbers. What did last year? What kids have 4 or 5 touchdowns? So we're not huge with throwing out of the backfield. So if you give the tight ends 5, you're gonna have 14 touchdown passes, and obviously we got some Humpties in there. But I've not seen anything that that would suggest that any of these wide receivers can get off the line against a quality SEC cornerback.
I want to see what the Jefferson kid can do that came from Bama. That's who I'm kind of looking at as a possibility to emerge as a big play guy.
Well, he's not even healthy, Brian. He didn't go through spring football. He hasn't played football since high school. He had a hip injury, and I think he had hip surgery. And so that's what I'm talking about. I'm not running these kids down. Radarius Jackson, Travis Smith, they were wonderful, wonderful prospects. Braylon Staley was an incredible player in high school over there. And Mike Matthews has 5 stars attached to his name and his reputation. However, no one has caught a pass of meaningfulness or done it against quality DBs. So it doesn't mean they can't do it, but I haven't seen it. And so we'll see. Can he? Heck, if he wants to throw for 38 like he did a couple of years ago, I'm all for it. But we'll just have to see how effective the wide receivers can be.
Well, let's zoom out for a second. If we don't look at particular names, right? Since Josh Heupel's been here, you really haven't had a lot of success with these super highly recruited guys, right? You had Cedric Tillman, 3-star. And you had Hyatt, who I think was a lower middle 4-star. He might have been a little higher than that, but he kind of came out of nowhere. It's the tempo creates the separation, right? The tempo is what has created the separation in 2021 and 2022 when we had guys running free for touchdowns. And what I'm looking for in the Syracuse game, you had the Syracuse guy on. It was excellent stuff that he brought to the table. Is I'm looking for that tempo to come back because last couple years they had to dumb this offense down. And I mean, by the end of last year, forget high tempo. We were huddling. We weren't even going no huddle. So I think if we can see some tempo when we break the huddle or when we kick off against Syracuse, I think that'll be a really good sign. And I'm not really worried about these receivers, right? If we can run the ball effectively, we can get defenses out of these 2 and 3 high shell looks, then the receivers will be open. We just need somebody to hit them. And if I'm believing the numbers, Cinco, I like this kid's deep passing. So we'll see. But that's a counterpoint for you.
Madison, I appreciate the positivity. I am not negative. I don't want to be viewed as negative. I just want to see it, and as soon as I see it, I'm on board. But what I try not to do is what I did with Nico, and I think Tony did too. I anointed him the next John Elway before he really, played it down. And it's not that he spoiled it for me, but I got, as Tony would say, way over my skis on that. And I want to see some offensive linemen that can play. I want to see Deshaun Bishop and Star Thomas and Peyton Lewis. I want to see them run. History suggests that we will run, but I still want to see it. But hey, I do appreciate your call. Best of luck with the move in this heat. I don't know what your family looks like, but if you have kids, even more luck with that deal. And I think you said you're going to Dallas. I hope your fortunes are great there in Dallas. And please call us soon.
Thanks, Cinco. Great show. You guys are doing a great job. Hope the back heals up soon for Tony. So I'll talk to you guys soon.
Well, if you'd like to join us like Madison did, 865-200-5402. That's going to wrap up hour 1 of this Tony Basilio show. Tony, as I've said before, is in parts unknown. We're trying to locate him. We've, much like Josh Heupel did, we've reached out all throughout the United States trying to find, as he was, Boo Carter. We've got a couple leads on Tony, and hopefully, maybe he'll join us a little later. But anyway, let's grab a break. We'll listen to our advertisers, and we'll be back here with hour 2. Coach Watson Brown. This is the Tony Basilio Show.
Hey, Tony B listeners, I'm Billy from Grade A Grounds, a UT grad bringing Knoxville a better way to raise money. We roast premium coffee fully branded for your team or cause. You keep 40% of sales, and we donate 5% to local needs. Let's win on and off the field. Visit gradeagrounds.com to start your winning fundraiser today.
Living Vol fan, we're on the countdown to kickoff, and that means you need to make sure you are game ready. Head to Alumni Hall to get this season's Tennessee sideline apparel. Nike, Columbia, Peter Millar, and more. Shop top brands for the entire family. Hats, Yeti, tailgating gear, and so much more. If it's for the Tennessee fan, Alumni Hall has it. Spend $150 and get $10 in Hall cash rewards. Shop at alumnihall.com. Download their app or shop any of their locations in Knoxville, Murfreesboro, or the Tri-Cities. Alumni Hall, the ultimate shopping destination for Vol fans.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we are live once again with Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, you're out there on the field, 100 strong here in Knoxville. Talk to me. What's been going on with FC Alliance now that the weather's heating up?
We're out here for the first night of the boys' tryouts. We have over 400 kids that'll be here tonight. So a lot of exciting times right now for us. Our club team start at U9 and we go all the way through U19. We have over 1,000 kids that come from Chattanooga from the Tri-Cities that make all our teams and make this club what it is today. So we're excited about it. We finished the younger kids a couple of weeks ago. We just finished the girls last night, and now we're on to our older boys program as we speak right now.
And we're blowing and going in the Tri-Cities. Tell me about it.
We started FC Alliance North 1 year ago, and coming off the first year, we are the largest, most competitive club up in the Tri-Cities area. We just finished our tryouts last night. Looks like right now we will be well over 400 kids for the upcoming season. So great things happening up there. We've put our boys into some really good regional leagues. So we're excited about what the future holds for them and also our girls programs.
If you want more information, check them out at fcallianceknox.org. That's fcallianceknox.org. Chad Stockton, keep growing the beautiful game here in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting because every customer counts, and I mean no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you, not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's Konexial.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
Basilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Yeehaw! Some people say betting online is still the wild, wild west. But with the VIP Play app, you're riding with the best. VIP Play app is hotter than a $2 pistol packed with flair. Live hosts and features finer than a frog hair. Send your old betting problems out of town with a slap. You'll be betting sharp as a tack on the VIP Play app.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Well, we want to thank you for hanging in there with us. The first hour of the Tony Basilio show without Tony Basilio, as Tony is in parts unknown, as we like to say. We have APBs out all throughout the country trying to locate him at this point. But you know Tony's going to do Tony. And so if there's a day he's going to be out and about, it's certainly the first day, most important day of fall practice, which is the first day. But anyway, before I get to our special guest, Coach Watson Brown, I want to, I neglected to say when I was hosting that I mentioned Brock and Philly, and obviously one of the OGs of the Saturday conversation, Bino, Jeff Henderson out there. So Bino, I know my role. I wasn't trying to take any of your glory, but I always love that time. But Coach Watson Brown, want to welcome you into the show today. Thank you for taking some time. It's I don't know what it's like up there in the somewhat mid-state, but it's hotter than Hades down here. I played 9 holes a couple of weeks ago, and I had to, quite frankly, I know you're going to be ashamed. I told the boys, I said, guys, that's enough. I'm getting lightheaded, and I got to take it to the house. But I know you're tougher than that. And first day of fall practice starts today. Can you reach back into the vault and talk to us about as a coordinator, as a head coach, et cetera, some of the things that go through your mind on a day like this, where there's so much excitement, so many new faces, everybody's undefeated, and, hope springs eternal?
It's like it was yesterday, Sean. I mean, it's just it's the most exciting time. I always told guys that would come to me that were players that were graduating, and they come and say, I want to be a college coach. And I said, are you wanting to do it to make a living, or are you wanting to do it because you just love it? And because if you don't really love being a coach, you need to do something else. It can't just be to make the money. And this time of year was the most exciting time. Now, it's different now because you get to work with the kids a lot more through the summer. We couldn't be with them in meetings. We couldn't be with them. All they could do was condition. We couldn't be on the field with a ball or anything like that whatsoever. So it was flat new when we hit the field for the first day. I always knew my wife. It probably we'd always start about now, and probably around right after the fourth, I'd start getting antsy and nervous. And Brenda, my wife, would always couldn't sleep, rolling everywhere. She couldn't sleep because of it. And she'd say, "Yep, it's about time to start football." But it's just neat. That first day is neat. Like I say, I don't think it would be as much as it used to be because they've already been working with them some. But it just, you start fresh. You're 0-0. You hadn't lost a game yet. It's just the greatest feeling in the world to get out there that first time.
Going into the year, there's always more information wanted by the fans, the media, et cetera. Were you a depth chart guy? I know some coaches are reluctant. Some coaches hate depth charts. Josh Heupel seems to be a guy that brackets a lot of people. As a head coach, can you talk about the importance or lack of importance, or if it's even anything about depth charts when you and your staff go out the first day? Typically, do you know who's going to be lining up, barring any injuries or some nonsense? And just go through that with it, because I don't think the fans really quite understand. I mean, I was before I was part of that program in a very small way, I might add. I always thought it was almost like the 10 Commandments. This guy's the starter. This guy's coming to play. Give us a review of how you value a depth chart and what it really means.
A depth chart wasn't. I didn't go first team, second team, all that as much. I wanted them to prove it. They left spring sitting somewhere, but I wanted them to earn it in that summer to be the starter or the backup or the third guy or whatever. I thought I was big on depth chart in making sure we had guys at the right place, because the worst decisions you make is you say, this guy's going to be a corner. And so we put him there. We spend all spring with him there. At the end of spring, you realize he's not a corner. Now he's missed all of the wide receiver work. So I thought that was the biggest piece, making a lot of kids that came out of high school in those days, and still is, in my opinion, can play a lot of different places. And it's just where they're needed more than sometimes might not be where they're best at. And that's bad to say, but a lot of times that would happen. If you just had to have this, you were going to put him there first. But I thought making the right decision and letting the guy grow at that position, and by the first game he was ready to roll, instead of having to put him somewhere halfway through all practice, Sean, and then all of a sudden he's not got but 2 weeks to get better at what he's got to do, and it takes him 2 or 3 games before he's really what he ought to be. Those were the things that I spent so much time making sure we had a guy at the right place.
I want to thank Simpson's Meats for making this possible. It's been such a treat to have Coach Watson Brown, incredible high school athlete, great player at Vanderbilt, assistant coach, and then head coach AD. Just a perspective you don't get day to day on sports programs. And so thank you for stepping up and sponsoring him. And thanks, Coach, for being here every Wednesday. It's always a treat to be on with you. I want to bring Brian Hartman into the mix here. He's got a question for you.
Yeah, I was wondering about during this whole saga about Boo Carter missing off-season workouts, and I wanted to ask Sean, because he was a manager at Tennessee back then as well while you were coaching at Vanderbilt. But did you guys have an extensive off-season program? I think a lot of the guys never really showed up until practice was to start, and I think they started having everyone around more because they wanted to keep some guys in shape, and they wanted to keep an eye on. So it's been more and more added to it as we've gone on, right?
Yeah, but Brian, I'd say through most of my head coach time, you had your guys there in the summer. They were lifting, they were running. Now, when I played, going back that far, it was a report thing, and you had these long conditioning drills that you had to prove you had worked out all summer, and if you didn't make the certain time, you had to get up early in the morning and get in better shape and all those things. But pretty much through my time, we had them. Now we couldn't do what they do with them now. We couldn't get on the field and work with them. We couldn't meet with them. You couldn't do those things. But the strength coach had them. We could stand out there and watch. We couldn't be part of the conditioning, but we could stand out there and watch and let the strength coach and his staff take them through everything, through the weight room and then through all the running stuff they did. They would on their own get out and throw and have Pascals and that kind of stuff, but we couldn't be out there with them. So it is a little different. I think these kids are much further along. I think that's why you get a guy that comes in for spring ball or even in spring ball, just like the quarterback situation at Tennessee now, and you get all summer in meetings and out there with the reps and getting taught and learning the offense. That's such a different world. I would have given anything to have had that, because I think freshmen would have been a lot better players in my time if they could have done that through the summer.
Coach, I'd like you to take us into the mind of a offensive coordinator, head coach, specifically what you might do here at Tennessee. You've got a kid coming in that hasn't been very long. It is what it is. We hope he's a great player, but he's here because of certain things. So you've got two young kids that have really not seen much at all. So as an offensive coordinator, as a head coach, how do you develop this quarterback position with what we have? Obviously, there was over the summer, we've heard about taking kids out to dinner and all that stuff. But as you know, once the cleats hit the grass, it's a different story. You're not fooling anybody out there. You're not going to fool a wide receiver when the ball hits the ground. You're not fooling a running back when he goes the wrong way. How would you cultivate this quarterback situation right now to make sure that you have the right guy in place against Syracuse and that guy has the trust and confidence of the rest of the offense?
Sean, that is the number one question for Tennessee this fall, is how quickly can somebody take over? And I promise you, Josh is not going to just give it to somebody and then let him not do well and put another one in. He's not going to do that. He's going to let one earn it. That's why these summer things have been so good that we couldn't do. We would be starting that today. Josh is a lot further along with that right now, starting pure practice, if you want to call it that, than we would have been back in my time when I was like at Vanderbilt or UAB, wherever I was, Rice, Cincinnati, the different places I was. We couldn't legally go out and watch them have a Pascal on their own. We couldn't do that. We couldn't stand around and watch that. So basically, you're seeing them for the first time, and the quicker they can decide, or I would like to say it differently, the quicker that one of those kids takes over and the decisions made by the kids and everybody can see it. And believe me, every player on that football team is working their butts off, but they're watching that close. Who's going to be our leader? And so they're watching it, and maybe it's already been decided. The quicker it's decided and the decision is right, and you don't want to decide if somebody hadn't really taken over. And if you see them say, we're going to play a couple of guys here early in the season, that's not good. That's telling you nobody has taken over yet. So the quicker somebody takes it over, then the better the Tennessee offense is going to be. And as you're doing that, each one, Sean and Brian, is different. So you're having to sit here in your mind, okay, if it's going to be this one, we've got to do a little bit more of this and a little less of that. So you can't even philosophically completely put your team together till you know who your quarterback is, because believe me, each one of them is a little different in their pluses and their minuses.
Coach, I wanted to get your opinion on this, changing the subject a little bit. There were some whispers earlier in the week, or even maybe over the weekend late last week, about the possibility of conference expansion. We've scratched this with you before a little bit earlier in the year about UNC and UVA moving over to the ACC. Also, you had Florida State, some of those other guys, reaching out, and they had their legal deals, et cetera. As you look from 50,000 feet from the air and see this whole thing going up, tell me about, because I used to live in Virginia, in Northern Virginia, up near D.C., and Virginia football was nothing to anyone that I knew of. Can you talk to us about UNC, obviously your connection with Coach Mack, with those two schools coming in possibly? How do you see that ending up? Do you see a timetable, and what have your insiders been talking about with regard to that?
I haven't discussed it a bunch with anybody, but Sean, there's no doubt in my mind this thing is not done. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I think there's going to be an NFL format at some point. There's going to be two major conferences, and they'll end up doing like the NFL does. That's where I think it's headed. I don't think it's tomorrow. I think there will be a couple here, then a couple more there, and it's going to end up being the SEC and the Big Ten. And 10 years from now, that's what it'll be. You're going to see an NFL format in college football. And so who's next? Don't you dare think behind the scenes there's not discussions going on at all times. Schools sticking their hand out saying, hey, man, we'd love to talk to you about this behind the scenes. All that stuff's going on. It's not going to stop. And I think the ACC and the Big 12 are going to be. It's going to be just like the Pac-12. There's going to be a fall off, and then I just think in time, Sean, you're going to see a group of 5 national championship and a power whatever national championship. I just think that's what the group of 5 will end up doing. That they just can't keep up. This has made it worse through this revenue sharing piece. It's going to make it even worse and worse. They just cannot get the same type of football player, as good a football player as the schools or the power schools with the money. And I just think sooner or later they're going to have to look in the mirror and say, hey, we can make more money by having our own championship. We're going to have to go and do it. So we'll see if it happens. I've been telling you all that for 2 years, and I just think, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I think there'll end up being just like the FCS was formed. I think there'll be a league in between the two, and the group of 5 will have their own national championship at some point.
Before we let you go, fill us in on your brother. Obviously, he leaves North Carolina after an absolute illustrious, accomplishment-filled career as the head coach. Then North Carolina, in my opinion, becomes a circus with Belichick and his paramour, I suppose, with all that silliness. But is Coach Mack, is he itching to get back? Is he enjoying retirement? And I would encourage the two of you, because I've seen both of you on air, both full of personality, a little bit different from my vantage point. But have you two ever thought of, or is there anything in the works for you guys to do a podcast, for you guys to do something like that? Because it would be a shame to have all of that knowledge just shared here on a Wednesday or whatever your brother's going to do.
No, not yet. But Mac just got out, and I think he's really, really happy. I've been telling him since I've been out now for a while, and I've been telling him, I say, when you do it, you're going to look back and say, why didn't I do it earlier? And I think he's enjoying himself. He's moved back to Austin. So they're living in Austin. He's kept a place in the mountains up in North Carolina mountains, up not too far from Boone, up in those mountains there. And they spend 3 months maybe out of the year there and the rest of the time in Austin. And I think he's enjoying himself. I know he's playing golf every day. I wonder if he's getting any better, because that don't always mean you do. So he won't have an excuse. Well, I just don't get to play enough. So he's playing golf every day, having a blast doing it. We'll see where it goes from here. I think he's finally through. I don't see him going back in any way into coaching. That's just an observation. He has said that to me, but that doesn't always mean that's the case. And it's going to be real interesting, Sean, to watch North Carolina. Not the spectacle as much as they're spending a lot more money. They're spending a lot more money than they were spending and making a financial commitment to keep up with the Joneses here. And it's going to be interesting to see if it works. And is that all it takes? Just throw more money into coaches, throw more money into the revenue sharing, whatever, into the selective before, and man, that is really picked up. So it's going to be interesting to see how all of it's put together. All the circus around that's one thing, but what's been going on behind the scenes, we don't know. And how has Coach Belichick put this program together? And it's going to be real interesting because it's not nowadays, Sean, it's not a team that you left, okay, we'll build on this team. You just start over every year. I don't mean that it's a new coach coming in. Each coach has a new team every year. And I've seen teams with 60 new faces, and I've seen teams that all of a sudden got 40 seniors on one team because they brought in so many older kids and just going for it. And so it's going to be real interesting to watch North Carolina as they've made some philosophical changes that really hadn't been talked about near as much as just the circus that's been around it.
Well, Coach, a little lighthearted here is, we're never afraid to throw someone under the bus when they're not on the conversation with us. So if memory serves, I know your brother was a fine athlete, but I remember you were the superstar. Do you deal out spankings to your brother on the golf course?
Well, I could. I don't know how much better he's gotten, but yeah, I could spank him pretty good here for a while. I guess when both of us were playing 3 months out of the year, I was a better player of the two. But now that we're both playing all the time, he may outwork me. I don't know. I'm not out there every day. He says he's playing every day. I'm about a twice a week guy. But he'd have to prove to me he could get me because he hadn't been able to do that just yet on the golf course.
Well, I trust that tradition is going to hold, that you are going to have the upper hand. Before we let you go, Brian has one more question. Again, we want to thank Simpson's Meats for having Coach Watson Brown out with us. It's always a treat and a pleasure. Brian, go ahead.
So we had a Syracuse beat guy on last hour, and he said that their quarterback competition was going to go all the way through August, and they might actually have both of them playing against Tennessee. I understand you don't feel like that's the best way to go. You don't. So I guess you're not real high on that kind of approach. You're hoping you say they should hope one of them takes the reins earlier.
I never had that I can remember. I never had to do that. Thank goodness we were able to make a decision because there was just a difference in 1 and 2, and we'd always seemed to have had enough time, Brian. It's not just you don't have your leader. It's you got to put an offense. You build an offense around one dude first. You got to make sure you do things the quarterback can do. You start trying to do things that guy can't do well, you're in deep trouble. And you can't make a quarterback do things he can't do. They're going to be Joes. They're going to be average old Joes. So good news for Tennessee. If they can get theirs in place and feel real good about it, and they go into that first game with Syracuse playing two, go Vols, because I'm going to tell you, they can't stay with them if that's the case.
Thank you, Watson. We appreciate you coming on, and we look forward to you coming on with us next week.
Love it. Enjoy you guys. It's always an honor.
Stay cool in the course.
Yeah, stay cool up there, my friend. It's brutal out. That was Coach Watson Brown joining us as he does every Wednesday. You know, that was supposed to be if I remember right, that was supposed to be an in-season thing, Coach Brown, but I mean, he was such a fantastic baseball player. I trust that he's a wonderful golfer, perhaps a basketball player. He and his brother were legends up there in the, was it Cookeville? Besides saying "scoo" better than anyone else says it, just what a delight to have him on here every time. But Brian, some of your takeaways from what Coach Brown said. Obviously, he differs a little bit with some of the mainstream about quarterback competition. He wants one dude. It was interesting listening to him, talk about the excitement of the first day. Still misses. It seems like it was just yesterday when he was lacing them up and throwing a whistle on and making practice schedules. I think, and I wasn't just playing there. I think Coach Mack, I think, has done some TV before that I've seen when he was between Texas and North Carolina. I think getting those two on, bantering back and forth, I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, it would. And Coach Brown Mac Brown, that is, definitely did some TV, and I can still hear him the way he would pronounce Duke. He would pronounce him Duke, like that, Duke, just like we have Skew. So I'd love to hear some Skew and Duke going at it. That'd be great. And it's an all-season perspective with Watson Brown on the show. That's one thing I like.
Again, thanks so much for the patience, everybody. We're going to go back to the phone lines. Again, it's a little clunky on our end. We're both remote, and we know we have two people on hold. So anyway, the lovely Miss Laura, if you'll invite someone in, we'll hear what they have to say. Hello, caller.
Hey, guys. Hey, it's Music City Sam in the house.
Hey, Music City, what's on your mind today?
It's kind of funny you guys brought on a Syracuse guy, because this morning I was thinking, I wonder what Syracuse is bringing to the table for this first game, because I've heard a lot of different stuff that they lost guys and this and that. So I did a deeper dive this morning into their game, and one of the things is they gave up 150 yards rushing to 6 different ACC teams. It's not one of their strengths to stop the run. And they lost their 2 best defensive line players, one of them to the NFL and one to Texas, which you mentioned. So I'm not at all concerned about our ability to run on them. And then you couple that with they lost on offense. They had almost no run game, 98 yards a game. It was almost all passing. So if their offensive line is suspect, which a lot of shows said it might be, that's just a recipe for us to tee off on the defensive line.
Well, I hope you're right. I think if you take a look at our schedule, the early part, obviously you have Georgia in there, and that is what it is. But the early part, it looks like that we can kind of ease the offense and Joey Aguilar into this season. The defense should still be stout. I don't take away from anything that we lost, because obviously a lot of D-line talent, James Pierce, et cetera, even Jason Jenkins going to Florida State, I believe, would have helped this year. But the schedule sets up that we do have a few games to get the offensive rolling. I'd like to ask you, I mean, that's the third time I'm going to say this. I'm an older man, but first day of practice always is exciting, whether it's back in the day reading the newspaper clippings, now it's online. I watch the highlights and the pictures. Tell me about your first day of fall practice experience, because now it seems like, to me, the summer's over. Then the kids will start school here. Mine are already out of high school, but that starts, the weather hopefully starts to get a little cooler. We blink our eyes and we're opening Christmas presents. Talk to me about, if you would, what the first day of fall camp means to you as a fan.
Oh, I mean, I've been at a 10 level of excitement the last 30 days. So this is just par for the course for me. I mean, it's, one of the reasons I just got excited about the season, and, because there are a lot of changes for this year, and I wanted to really think about what's happening, because when people in the national media talk about Tennessee, it's always dumbed down, because they don't have the time to really think about
the deeper context of things. It's just, well, they lost Dylan Sampson, Nico's gone, they're losing 80% of their offensive line, and the outside fan from other teams just says, oh, well, they're probably not going to be as good. And my excitement is like, well, is that really the case, or is there reason for optimism? Because we all have optimism as Tennessee fans regardless. So is there really reason for optimism? Because I really think we're going to roll over Syracuse. And I don't think Joey Aguilar is going to have to do much for that to even happen. Because I'll disagree with the Syracuse guy. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I don't think they're going to be able to.
No, I don't either. Coach Brown is. Excuse me, I didn't mean to step on you. Go ahead.
No, I just don't think they're going to be able to score on us. They lost pretty much their entire offensive production, and they don't have a track record of replacing it like we do with our rushing game. You know, we can pretty much assume we're going to rush for 200 yards a game at this point. So the rest of it's just, can you get the other stuff clicking? They don't have that.
Well, I think you're right, and that's what Coach Heupel does with his offense. I may not have my stats right, but they've either led or have been close to being leaders in rushing since he's been here in the SEC. That just doesn't change because we've had a seemingly a different rusher, leading rusher every year. I'll tell you the thing about optimism you were talking about is, I mean, I've more than once spouted out some not deficiencies, but some unknowns in the team right now, and that doesn't mean they can't be great. But the one thing is, I didn't coin this phrase. I brought it up, and I hadn't heard it on Tony's show before. But I really was interested in what was called the blue chip ratio, and that was introduced a while ago, but it didn't get a whole lot. Again, not my idea. I just ran across it, and then Coach Brown was on one Wednesday, and I brought it up. And if I'm not mistaken, this is one of, if you know, in recent memory, that the roster has a net positive blue chip ratio. That would mean you have a higher percentage of 4 and 5 stars than you have 3 stars. And aside from maybe Florida State 1 year, Clemson, maybe one other one in the past 20 some years, every team has had a tremendous advantage in that, a higher plus minus ratio. So I'd like to ask you about that. All of its potential, all of it was recruiting rankings, et cetera. But I get my attitude gets lifted because it just seems like when you go down the roster, I found myself, well, this guy was a 4-star. Well, this guy was good. Well, this guy was good. This guy was good. It didn't look like the old days when we were, and albeit I love me some Will Brooks, but you know what I'm talking about. It looks like more and more high quality talent is on the roster than I can remember in some time.
Yeah, I mean that's the reason for, if you're going to have optimism about the receiving core and the offensive line, is on your receiving core, Chris Brazel's your most productive returner with the most experience. He was a 3-star out of high school, but he's got the most experience. And then the rest of your guys are either 4 or 5 stars, all of them. And when I compare that to the last 2 years, last year we had Thornton, Squirrel White, and Brew McCoy. We had those 3 guys the previous years. They remained hurt for a majority of the last 2 years. And in 2023, you had Ramel Keaton as well, which I always thought was a little underrated as a receiver here. But in my opinion, we didn't have very good receivers the last 2 years. We didn't have a guy last year that could hit him on a deep ball, even if they were open. So it's, there's reason to be optimistic when you look at the talent coming in, because they earned that star somehow.
Your top 2 receivers were hurt that you kept trying to throw to, and Burr McCoy and Squirrel White, they were both kind of banged up most of the year. And then Thornton, same thing. So hopefully they're healthier this year.
Well, that's a great point, Brian. Music City, we got to run here. Appreciate you calling on a Tony Basilio free Tony Basilio show. Please give us a call later in the week when Tony's back. You bring up some great points. If I was in charge of copper cards, I'd send you one, but I'm still waiting for mine from about 10 years ago. So, you know, that goes. Anyway, we got one more. I guess we're going to let's take a break. I believe we got some more callers on hold, but I've not been managing time great like Mario Cristobal does his football game. So let's get a break in here. If the lovely Miss B will take us to our advertisers, we'll be right back after these delicious tones from the people that make it happen here. And we'll be right back with you on the Tony Basilio Show.
Guests appear on the TLD Logistics Hotline, online at tldlogistics.com.
Whether it's baseball, football, softball, church groups, or schools, if you're raising money, do it with locally roasted Grade A Grounds coffee. I'm Billy Miller, a Vol alum and Knoxville native. You keep 40% of sales, and we donate 5% back to our East Tennessee community. Get started today by visiting our website at gradeagrounds.com.
Since 2001, Piperidge Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has been the trusted and preferred name for over 70,000 Knoxville locals looking for expert plumbing services and HVAC services, including repairs, replacements, or maintenance. Voted best plumber in Knoxville and one of Knoxville's best HVAC companies 7 years in a row. Piperidge is a fully licensed mechanical contractor and committed to excellence and craftsmanship, so you can trust our certified experts to go above and beyond to meet your plumbing and HVAC needs, no matter what problem arises. We also make it easy with transparent pricing, free on-site estimates for replacements, and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans, including 0% financing when credit approved. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards, so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Piperidge at 865-264-8090 or book online at piperidge.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our gold bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Hey there, Basilio family. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. The countdown to fall football is on. Is your fall plan missing the perfect home to watch the Vols make another playoff run? If a new view is on your game day checklist, I'm ready to help you find it. Don't wait until kickoff. Give me a call today at 865-694-5904 or visit my website at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here reminding you that when you want to sell your extra tickets to the game, you don't want to give your life away online with all your personal information just because you want to sell a few extra tickets. Clark Moore at Select Ticket Service will gladly buy your extra game tickets and your extra parking passes. And the best part? Clarky Boy pays cash. 865-919-1016. 865-919-1016. Clarky Boy pays cash at Select Ticket Service. Clarky Boy pays cash. Tony B here with the great Zakai Ziegler for Advent.
Hey, whoa. Tony, I got this. Hey, Tennessee, it's Easy here. Next time you have an electric issue at your home or business, call my friends at Advent Electric. With offices in Knoxville and Nashville, it's Mama's Easy approved.
You heard it from the most electrifying player in the league. Call the service professionals at Advent Electric, 865-588-0631. Online, adventelectric.com. Tell them ZZ sent you.
I guess we're back. Didn't know it was going to be at that one, but I guess we're back on the Tony Basilio show, if I've read the prompt right. And once again, we are still looking for Tony. If you see him out there, it used to be easy when he had the clown car. You could see him rolling around Knox County and give us a ring about where his adventures were taken of him. Not so much now, but anyway, we want to thank the great Javon Edmonds from Syracuse.com coming in for a little bit to fill us in on what the Orange have online for the first game of the season. Coach Watson Brown just enlightening us with thoughts of being a coordinator and a head coach. It's the first game of the season comes up as the first day of practice and all that excitement. And the callers, 865-200-5402. We'd ask you that you come in and let us hear what you think on this hot Wednesday. Without Tony here, this show is obviously clunky. I'm trying my best, but it's you don't appreciate how talented Tony is until you make that 6-inch step to the head coach's seat and try to take this task on by yourself. Those with Mike Envy, and you know who you are, it's not as easy as Tony makes it look. And to be entertaining and funny, and wherever he is, we trust he'll be back tomorrow. But more importantly, back to the phones, and I believe this is Titans Bill. First, I guess fall camp is open for your Titans. Will Levis will no longer be, giving you heartburn because he's injured, thank God. And what's on your mind, my friend?
Finally, they cut Treylon Burks.
They cut him?
Yeah, they cut him. They put him on injured waivers or something like that. They gave him his walking papers. What I should
they've had some very curious top draft picks. Was it was he from East Carolina, the quarterback before Levis, who left and was an okay backup this past year? Burks. They get Will Levis, who, quite frankly, I never saw it.
Burks went to Arkansas.
Yeah. Oh, I know. They had high hopes for him because it wasn't he supposed to be the replacement for when Brown went up to the Eagles.
Brown, yeah, that's what costed John Robinson his job.
Well, should have. That's moron.
That's going to haunt them forever.
Drafting Will Levis was the thing that costed Rand Carthon his job.
And rightfully so. Titans Bill, tell me, it's the first day of practice. Are you one like me to scour the internet looking for all the different pictures and videos and impressions from the pundits out there? Or are you a guy, this is just another Wednesday leading up to the first game? Bring us into the Titans Bill world.
Okay. First of all, one more losing season. Right now, Brian Cashman is hanging by a thread. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. One more losing.
So we're still with the Titans right now.
One more.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, he's the head coach of the Titans.
Okay.
One more losing season. Sayonara Sukiyaki. Thank you, Tony Basilio.
Who's going to be our starting quarterback this year, Bill? I say "are" because I'm getting. I'm tired of my
more.
Chiefs. To be honest with you, I'm tired of Travis Kelce. I'm tired of Taylor Swift. I'm tired of Mahomes and that stupid haircut and choking in the big games. I'm just tired of them. I think I am going to go full. Believe it or not full, but I'm about to go 60% Titan this
Sean,
year.
they've won 3 Super Bowls, like choking in big games.
I don't care. I'm tired of that stupid hair. I'm tired of them buying softball players down at Texas Tech. I'm over it. I'm sick and tired of Kelce. Yeah, Mrs. Taylor Swift. Even though I was born there, I'm over it, Brian. I'm going full. Well, not really. I'd say 62, 63% Titan this year.
Hey, Brian Hartman, can you spell corruption? Of course you can. And that championship game last year was nothing but corrupt between them and the Bills. And that's a fact with my hand up.
What are you saying? As usually, the Chiefs got the favorable whistle. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying. And that's
a lot of people say that. A lot of people say there are a lot of calls over the years that I can't explain.
They're the 2020s Patriots.
2020s Patriots. Okay. All right. Well, Bill, tell me enough of the pro football stuff. Quite frankly, NFL bores me. And you don't want to host this board. Tell me about the Vols, man. We had, I believe it's Madison on here talking. He was all full of hopium and regaling us on the possibilities of this Big Orange edition. What are your thoughts on the year coming up on day one of fall camp?
I think for them making it to the college football playoffs this year is slim and none. I just can't see it. We'll either go 8-4 or 7-5. But if
unfortunately, Titans Bill, I smell what you are cooking.
Be that good.
That's the way of saying I agree with you.
This upcoming season, and that's definitely a fact with my hand up.
All right, what else? How you beating the heat this summer, Titans Bill? You wanted to get out by the pool with a umbrella drink. How are you dealing with these 100-degree temperatures?
The only time I'll ever go outside is when I go and get the mail or if there's a package on the front porch from my sister Sam, who happens to be Jesse's mother, who I'm living with. And, of course, this morning I called my other buddies on WGOW, and I want to tell you about one co-host of that news talk, Bill. His name is Jim Reynolds. And he's also...
Tell me about Jim Reynolds, because we are short on content, my friend.
Okay. He happens to be the play-by-play voice of the University of Tennessee Chattanooga Moccasins. Both football...
Play-by-play voice of the Mocs, okay.
And, of course, you'll find there, if you have a cell phone, and, of course, I consider these cell phones handheld computers... You'll find their games on WFL Live out of Chattanooga. Of course, Laura ought to be familiar with that.
Yeah, she stays right on top of it, Titansville.
Okay, guys, have a good one.
Thank you, Titansville, for the call. And let's take a last time out, and then we'll come back and wrap it up on the other side. The Wednesday edition of the Tony Basilio Show.
Online at tldlogistics.com.
Whether it's baseball, football, softball, church groups, or schools, if you're raising money, do it with locally roasted Grade A Grounds coffee. I'm Billy Miller, a Vol alum and Knoxville native. You keep 40% of sales, and we donate 5% back to our East Tennessee community. Get started today by visiting our website at gradeagrounds.com.
What do the names Kirby Connell, Jordan Beck, Evan Russell, Drew Beam, and John Fulkerson have in common? When they have questions about the law, they call on Marcos Garza and the Garza Law Firm. The Garza Law Firm can handle anything law-related that may come your way. Join these VFLs and let the Garza Law Firm assist you. Visit them online at garzalaw.com. That's garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics. Basilio here reminding you that when you want to sell your extra tickets to the game, you don't want to give your life away online with all your personal information just because you want to sell a few extra tickets. Clark Moore at Select Ticket Service will gladly buy your extra game tickets and your extra parking passes. And the best part? Clarky Boy pays cash. 865-919-1016. 865-919-1016. Clarky Boy pays cash at Select Ticket Service. Clarky Boy pays cash.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's Konexial.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limón. Muchas gracias, limón. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
And I believe we are back for one more segment. Sean, go right ahead.
Welcome back to the Wednesday edition, first day of fall camp of Tony Basilio Show. As we've said, Tony is MIA. I trust he'll be back in the throne tomorrow. But we do appreciate our guests. We appreciate all the callers. And so I don't get a nasty email from the small one. harping on caller pace. Let's get Rob in Dallas in here. Rob or Robert, sorry, don't know which one. But welcome to Tony Basilio Show, and thanks for calling.
Hey, Doc, this is Rob in Dallas, man. How you guys doing today?
Doing great. We just had a fella earlier, Madison, I think, is moving to Dallas, and we're talking about the heat. What's it like outside there today?
My house, I'm at 103 today.
No, thank you. What's on your mind, my friend, on this first day of fall camp?
Well, first, has the leadership council got together to find out why we've been ghosted by Tony Basilio, and have we had a team meeting to see what we're going to do about this?
My understanding is the leadership council does not take anything on their agenda for people that make under $100 in NIL. So no, they're not wasting their time.
Hey, I was listening. Speaking of that guy moving up from Austin, I was listening to you guys talk, and you brought up the point, said, who's Joey football going to throw the football to? Who's our receivers? My question is, over the last 2 years, we haven't had stellar quarterback, performance. And how much does that contribute to our receivers not looking great? Because looking at last year, I can only think of about 2 or 3 games where they threw a 50-50 ball up and our guys went and got it or didn't get it. And I'll go back to the Oklahoma game last year. I was sitting at that game watching it, and I want to say we left about 21 points on the board from Nico just not seeing the field and not hitting a wide open receiver, So we might have great wide receivers, just nobody throwing the ball. I mean, what's your opinion?
You know what? You bring up a good point because, last year, 2 years ago, the talk was that because of Joe Milton's arm strength, he had to be pinpoint on it because he threw the ball so hard he didn't give receivers a chance to reach back, reach up, etc. Last year, as many overthrows as Milton had, I contend that Nico had as much or more. So, we had a caller earlier talk about the fact that this scheme, especially illustrated with Hooker, runs wide receivers open. And last year, I think you were just alluding to that. You're exactly right. Even though it was low picking fruit to pick on Heupel and Halsey, I, like you, contend there were many, many touchdowns out there that were just squandered by receivers that were hurt, by receivers that were not 5 stars, et cetera. So, no, you're right. I'd like to think that anybody on scholarship can catch a wide open pass. I think that, back in the day when I was, younger, Riddell Anthony and, the other freshmen at Florida were running riot in the SEC as true freshmen.
Ike Hilliard.
Ike Hilliard, yeah. So, is it possible? I mean, that quarterback, that wide receiver room is chocked with 4 and 5 stars, and pretty much every one of those guys could have gone almost anywhere they wanted. So, no, you bring up a great point. I think my whole thing on this, whether it's the running backs, whether it's the wide receivers or offensive line, or even quarterbacks, I think I'm going to reserve judgment. I don't think that's negative until I actually see it. But there's a lot of talent on that offense.
I agree with you. I think we're going to be pretty good. And I was at, I think it was at the Arkansas game, and I think it might have been in the first half. And for whatever reason, we haven't run a seam route in forever. And in that game, we ran a seam route, and our tight end was wide open, streaking right down the hash marks there. And I want to say that they sacked our quarterback. And I'm like, my goodness, why don't he just let the ball go? Let it go. And same thing when we were at Oklahoma. I think it was before the Dante Thornton slant touchdown route. We had, I think it might have been Mike Matthews that was wide open across the middle. I'm talking a defender not within 15 yards of him and missed it. And all year long, I saw that, and I kept going, I don't know if it's our receivers running the wrong routes or he doesn't see the field, but, if we could just get somebody back there who can just throw the ball up, maybe we might win some of those 50-50 balls or, give our guys a chance to make a play. But, I've called him before. I told you my neighbor, he's employed by a local college here on the football.
Buddy,
staff.
I need you to put a bow on it real quick. We got to run.
Oh, well, anyway, I think Joey's going to be good, and I think I agree with you. I'm thinking 9-3, 10-2. That's all.
I appreciate that. Again, my poor performance on the time here. I want to thank Brian Hartman for being here with me, the lovely Miss B at
Great
the
job,
Wheels
Sean.
of Steel. I want to thank Simpsons Meeting, all of our advertisers, and Go Vols. Tony Basilio will be back tomorrow for your Thursday edition. Go Big Orange.